Man, it's gonna be. I mean, it's not a hard video to make, but what I just witnessed is not what I was just not prepared. I was not as prepared as I thought I would be. Now, I'm not meaning to sound depressed in this video, but I just got done watching season 7, the premiere, episode 1, and it was really crazy. I mean, I didn't expect what I saw, but I did expect it. I called everything out except for one. One thing that happened in there I didn't think was going to happen. Now, before I go any further, there will be spoilers in this video, so if you don't want to see spoilers or hear spoilers, do not finish up with this video. Like, do not even go the rest of the way. Click off of it, come back another time when you watch the first episode. But yeah, you've been warned, so here we go. Now, okay, I'm only going to talk about basically the main part of who got Lucille. So it all started, you were seeing, instead of seeing it from Negan's perspective of who he was picking, the eeny, meeny, miny, mo, you were seeing it from Rick's perspective. And, it was just really gut-wrenching to see that, because this time you were gonna know who he picked. And he picked Abraham, and I didn't expect him to pick him. I really didn't. But here's the thing. I watched the episode twice. The first time, I was just so nervous. I was a nervous wreck. I didn't notice anything, any extra details into it. The second time I went through, I noticed a specific detail. Now, right before they go to Sasha's little cameo, like where they show her crying, they show Abraham, then they go to Sasha and she's crying. And basically, the part before they show Sasha, that's like a tongue twister, but right before that, you see Abraham, and if you look at his hand, he's throwing up a peace sign, and that's his thing. That's what he always did to Sasha, and it was kind of a nice little detail to put in there that I didn't notice until the second time watching, and it was cool. But then it happened where, he did if anyone moves, take the boy's other eye out, and feed it to his father, and then we'll start. But then he hit him right on the top of the head with the bat. He fell to the ground and then got up bleeding everywhere. And Negan did his line, look at that, taking it like a champ. And then Abraham did probably what I thought was probably the best way to go out. He said an Abraham line, an Abraham quote, kind of, something that you wouldn't say. Because, I mean, well, in that spot, I don't know if I could say anything, but he was like, suck my nuts. Now, that's the most Abraham way to go out. And I thought that was the best way he could have went out. Because, one, in the comic book, he was supposed to die the way Denise died. And after watching The Talking Dead, evidently Robert Kirkman didn't like the way Abraham died, so he wanted him to have, I guess, a better moment here, which does make sense. He died practically just a strong man that really isn't afraid of nothing. Like, there was no fear in his eyes when he said, "You are it." There was no fear. And when he hit him the first time, there was no pain. He just knew his time was up. He didn't care. There was no ounce of him that was like, I'm afraid of you. He wasn't. He just wasn't. But then, here's the thing. Okay, he kills Abraham, taunts Rosita. Daryl intervenes by punching him. I thought Daryl was going to die. But he doesn't yet. I don't know if he does, but he doesn't now. But it's not looking good for him. I mean, Daryl already has a reputation with Dwight. And he already has a reputation with Negan now by punching him in the middle of his, I guess, orientation. Now the real gut-wrenching part starts, is where Glenn happens, because he said no exceptions. He got to take out another one, and he went straight for Glenn. Out of nowhere. Glenn was right behind him, and I was like, alright, I don't know who he's going to pick. Is he going to do eeny, meeny, miny, mo again? And then he just turned around extra quick and hit him around top of his head. And the thing is, he hit Glenn so hard, he had a big gash on top of his head and looked exactly like the comic book. His face looked exactly like the comic book, and he tried to mutter out words, and it took him a while. He could not get any words out, but then he finally got words out. I think it was 4 words where he said, "Maggie, I will find you." That's 5. I can't count, but that's 5 words, and that hurt me. That hurt me a lot, because Glenn's my second favorite character, and Daryl is my first favorite character, and third favorite, you can guess, it was Abraham. So I'm in a pretty bad shithole. But what killed me the most of this episode wasn't the 2 deaths. That was, I would say, 40%. The other 60% was, well, the ending. When they showed, a dinner. It showed what could have been with Glenn having a son, Sasha and Abraham together, and that part got me tearing up. I didn't cry, but it got me tearing up. I was close. Because normally, I'm not an emotional person. I'm a nervous wreck, but I don't cry from, like, deaths in the show. I was close when Beth did, and I was extremely close. Like, I was tearing up. I would guarantee if I would have blinked, I probably would have had a tear come down my eye, and I would consider that crying, but I didn't cry. But let me know in the comments section. I hope this wasn't too much everywhere. I'm still, processing everything that happened. Rest in peace, Glenn and Abraham. I'll miss you. All the Walking Dead fans are going to miss you on the show. And, it's going to be crazy without you guys. But leave a comment in the comments section what you guys thought of the season premiere. I wasn't ready as much as I thought I was. I knew what was going to happen. I knew everything but Abraham, but I knew every little aspect that was going to happen in that episode. Like, I knew they couldn't like, do much of a different representation than what they did in the comic book. I knew they couldn't steer that far away. So I knew, and even knowing, it didn't make it easier. But yeah, leave a comment, and yeah, as always, I will see you guys later.